This post, which was published on Facebook on 22nd October, is post number 8, and it was in the series of regeneration of mind, body and soul in lockdown times, corona times. And the rishis have very systematically and very very step by step have explained the reasons of the present situation in the world, where we are facing a pandemic, and the pandemic has created a world crisis because the normal life has completely changed. And there are 3 parts to it, and these 3 parts are all related, obviously. And Swamiji has explained in great detail that why is this pandemic happening. Means, if God wants, God can stop everything, but God is not stopping it. Like we believe that everything is done or happens with the will of God, with the wish of God, but why isn't God stopping this? And what have we done so wrong that we have to face this situation where so many troubles, problems, changes, economic, social is happening? So there are 3 parts to it. One is that Shivanand Swamiji is explaining that the world is undergoing a massive change in its consciousness. Like we know, there is consciousness of one person, consciousness of like collective consciousness of the family, the country, the state and the world. So part 1 is that what is the present situation, and the transition and the revival. Basically these are 3 parts of this post. And before I start explaining part 1, because there are many new participants through live stream, and later on this video will be seen by quite a few people, so let me address them. In the morning, in our session, early morning 7 o'clock session today, I explained to you the significance of this pilgrimage of Rishikesh. And since this post or this message from God through Shivanand Swami came to me, and he is guiding this pilgrimage, this complete revival program of 3 days, intensive program. And in the morning I had explained, since others were absent, that how do changes happen. Means the rishis are constantly helping the world, the humanity, and Jyoti Marg, the ancient lost forgotten path of finding God, has got lost, but it has been revived. Now how is the revival being taken place? Like, how is it happening? So I had explained, I'll just recapitulate everything. I had explained to you in the morning that the rishis are intentionally and intentionally leaving out or beaming their spiritual vibrations. So some people adopt those divine vibrations consciously, if they are aware of it, and if they tune in their mind, in their meditation and otherwise. And some benefit without their knowing. How? Suddenly a very positive, high quality thought will enter your mind, and you will work on it, you will think about it. The other way of awakening many people is through making geometrical configurations called yantras. And This is the first time I have ever discussed in open about it, and just a few people knew about it. And now is the time to tell the world about it. So I said in the morning, but that recording is only for a group of people. So there is one yantra, that means starting from my house, there are eight geometrical designs or grids. They are energy grids. They have 3 points. They are connected from Tapovan, that is my house, to Kailash or Shivanand Ashram or Keshwa Ashram or Vajreshwari or Badrinath or Dronagiri temple or Dwarahat and so on. These are stored energies which were brought down in a ceremony from the Satyalok to the earth during some Brahmkal or Brahm Muhurat, and it was done religiously and ceremoniously. And these energies are kept in urns or kalash under the earth, many feet, several feet below. They have a time span, and all we need to know is, yes, they exist, have faith, and connect your mind to that, and be very focused and aware that, okay, these vibrations are around you. So in the morning I talked about Ananya Yantra, which is from this place to Ashram, Shivanand Ashram and Tapovan. Now, because this is a long post, but I have already discussed, and I'll quickly revise what I have said, and I'll tell you more. Apart from that, let me quickly tell you that the Samadhi of Shivanand Swami not only has the Samadhi or the divine immortal body of Shivanand Swami when he became Shivanand, he came before also, few thousand years, about 65,000 years back. Markandeya Maharishi Ji was here as a different person, and he did penance here, and he is resting in the place where today Shivanand Swami's immortal body is there. So he gave his thoughts to Shivanand Swami when he was in Malaya or Malaysia or whatever, and he told him to come to this place. And he came, and as father and son, they have reincarnated many times. Why need to tell this again and again? I need to say this again and again because these are divine relationships over some incarnations. If we purify our heart and mind, we become our relations become divine. They could be of father-son, they could be of master-disciple, they could be of mother-daughter, they could be of son-mother or anything. So in spirituality, such souls like to reincarnate again and again, like Amraji and Vishwamitraji. They are father-son. So whether astrally or otherwise, ethereal bodies are always connected. So Markandeya Ji's Samadhi is very deep down under the ground, and on top of that is Shivanand Swamiji's Samadhi. So it's a very, very powerful place, and it has its own lifespan. And the same thing is in Keshwa Ashram in Haridwar. When Markandeya Maharishi Ji was Atharva Rishi, his son later was Dadichi, or maybe around that time. And their samadhis, there are 2 samadhis or maybe more, but father son are resting there. So if you connect these 2 spots, say Keshwa Ashram, Haridwar, and here they are about 25 kilometers apart. If you connect these 2, there's a big energy field. And if you connect these 2 points to Tapovan, then it becomes larger. It becomes larger. So the energy stored under the ground, it is spreading everywhere. And it is also, the same thing is replicated in the Akash also. The same design, the same thing is also replicated in the Akash. And from there, very subtle energies, subtler than what they are on the ground, are stored and distributed and saved, like you save things in cloud. So I'm just telling you the significance of this post. Some of the things I've already told you, you'll understand very fast. That is why I lay the background and the foundation today morning. So the power of Shivanand Swami is that place, Samadhi, is full of Sankalp Shakti. Sankalp Shakti, right? And I've spoken a lot about it in the morning. And the power of Keshava Ashram is like, if someone goes there, what kind of energies should we expect to receive? That place will give you the boon of developing your intuition. And I believe there is more to it. Or if we connect, like there is this grid in the morning. I told you about Ananya Yantra. So the yantra between Keshava Ashram, Tapovan, and Shivanand Swami, its name is Ambar Anant Yantra. Means Ambar means a collection or a pile of, a big heap of. Anant means there is a big power, a storehouse of power, of thought, like mind power, not thought, mind power. In this grid, we can expect this. So that's why the constant repetition of improving the mind, developing the body. And this grid or energy field was started, it started beaming in 2004. The work started, actually not beaming, but it must be beaming, but it started in 2004. And the work got completed in 2010. So it took 6 years to make this energy field. And I feel these shrines, these holy places are so wonderful. And we must train our eyes to be seeing for very powerful, divine, sublime things which are unglamorous. So many things in this world you're going to find are not as attractive as we are used to seeing or believing. Okay. So the part 1 speaks about the world is undergoing a massive change in its spiritual consciousness. Now Swamiji told me that in this time, in this 2 years time, the world is going to see a lot of upheaval because we are in transition. We will not feel settled, whoever. I mean, if you're that kind who have overcome this, fine. But I'm talking about so many people who are going to see all this, what I'm speaking through videos. So pacify your mind instead of being disturbed. Why is it happening? Why is it not happening? Why God not listening and all that? Instead, focus on developing yourself and recharging yourself. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So what has happened? Why? I mean, after I explain to you, if you read this article, you can understand fully. So why has God not stopped this pandemic? Why was it allowed to spread? And the mutations are causing a lot of problem. The mutation in the constitution of the virus, The more it goes into human beings, the more mutations it will happen. The more mutations will happen in it. Correct? So we can't control the virus. Now what has happened is that in the past, especially in the last 45 years, there were many signs from nature, from God, to stop exploitation of earth. And there are two types of exploitation which are going on for centuries, more so in the last 45 years. One is exploitation of Mother Nature, and humans are exploiting it. And the other is, from other standpoint, the other point is exploitation of humans by humans of humans. Now, what has happened in the last few years is that we human beings have made lot of development, lot of progress materially. So that has brought lot of control over nature, and we have done mass construction. We have speeded up our life. We have raised our mind to a point where we don't know how to calm it now. And simultaneously, it has given us a lot of greed, hunger, selfishness, because it is possible now to generate a lot of wealth over a very short period of time with least effort. And how is it possible? What has happened is, this is not a Kali Yuga, this is a Vishesh Kali Yuga. This is a very special kind of Kali Yuga. So what are the signs? What are the signs of this Vishesh Kali Yuga? The signs are that maximum people will run after Maya, run after worldly things. Small things can attract them. And the moral values will be lost. People don't care. People will not care for, leave alone spiritual, moral values. And people will find an outlet, a window to they are finding a window to let loose their trishnas and vasanas. Means they're very deep rooted bad desires, not good desires. Some desires are good, some are not. And what kind of people, what band of people are these? There are two types of groups. Say one is the doer and the other is receiver. There is a section of people who are doing certain things, and there are some people who are at the receiving end. Right? So there are two types of groups. Now the maximum people are, say, let's name them Group A. Group A, right? Just for our understanding, we will distribute the population into two kinds. One is the section of people whom we are calling Group A, who are in maximum. They are the people who have developed such deep desires over years, and their mind has become convoluted, means very twisted. They become very complex, and they are totally blind, they are ignorant, and to gain a moment of happiness or some kind of illusionary happiness, they will destroy this world, they will destroy the earth, they will destroy the lives of people, they will harm people, they'll harm the society. Knowingly or unknowingly, they are harming. And how is it done? The profiteers, People want to. The internet was a boon until it is being used for bad means. There are many ill sides or bad sides of internet. We are doing that. And technology was for our development. It was to be used for even poor people, for their education. I'm just giving you some examples. That's not happening. And when internet or data became cheaper, people have started using it for cheap means, not for educating themselves. It's for entertainment, it's for fun. It was not meant for that. It was to connect with each other in the globe. Website. Remember how it started. So, and the technology is being used for exploiting commercially the people, the world, a section of people. And this is the outer side. I'm talking about the external. Now, what kind of mindset these people have? What do they do? What happens is, these people, such people who are so blind, ignorant, they are basically profit makers. They are exploiters. They are people who look for constant happiness in some form, or they feed their ego, or they feed their basal joys, I don't know what to call them, and so on. And they cannot think beyond that. That is the problem. Even if you explain that, they are like shut from the world, because permanently their mind has got corrupted. Their mind cannot be undone unless they want to undo it. So great noble thoughts don't touch them, and they don't want to do anything for others. And the problem is, when such people live in a large number in the world, which is happening today, it could be a country. It could be a country, one country versus other. So when they want to control others, control other countries, in the name of progress, in the name of staying number one, so many immoral or unlawful things happen. Now, in the whole process, what happens? Some people have too much, they have too much like surplus, and the others lose their rights. The basic rights are robbed. And when too much of this happens, and if the humanity is not understanding that this cannot go on, so this is on the mind or mental level, then to succeed in their motives, what happens is, the profiteers or the people who like to rule the world, rule the other countries and so on, what happens is, the earth or nature gets exploited too fast at a very alarming rate. So much so that all the living beings on this planet cannot be sustained. So we had reached that point. So the choice with God was to stop this earth, that is Pralay, which would have taken 650 years, or to go through this process of transformation and regeneration. That is what is happening. And the other problem with the large population of wicked, evil people is, even if they don't do anything intentionally, they're all the time beaming or relaying such bad intentions and bad thoughts in the air. And when they echo, or when such seeds of thoughts are floating in the atmosphere, a similar thought will attract, though it's on the very basal level, and then they join, and they become little big. That's what I'd explained to you the other day. Then it becomes a small cluster or a group or a blob of energy. And the same thing is happening here, say maybe in this country and this country. And these two groups will join and make a larger group. And then the racket or the fraud or the whatever you want to say, such things happen. All the illegal things happen. Because the greed to be there, get there is so much more than thinking through that are we above laws, should we do this? These moral questions are not there. So what happens, so many people, the nice and good people, are all the time being subjugated. In the long run, they don't get their rights. We end up paying probably more than we should in some places and so on. What is rightfully ours is not received, or there is a delay. But God is a seer, God watches. So how long could that go? And therefore this pandemic has started, and since we refuse to learn any lessons, and the population of the world was traveling too much from one end to the other, and then we would just go and exploit everything taken for granted, and we thought food will be available, water will be available, energy will be, electricity, this, that. But we didn't realize in the hindsight or just for a moment that are we really happy? We all started traveling when things opened, tourism opened. Now there is spiritual tourism. How can it be spiritual tourism? There are tours, spiritual tours. So people come and defile these places. And too much movement on the planet, too much heat on the planet. What we are talking of, weather changes and climate change, world change or whatever. All this is man-made. And this is just in the pursuit of so-called happiness, gaining happiness. And there is a lot more than what I have said. So the world over the time periods or phases, it starts collapsing. The reason of destruction, slow destruction of this earth has always been not because of so-called calamities of the earth, but because of bad, evil thoughts which culminate as, which transform as bad actions, and bad actions lead to bad manifestations. So proper distribution of wealth, proper distribution of natural resources, proper distribution of education and all these things, these are very important issues for God. Beyond a point, if our karmas are such that we deserve something nice and we are not getting, there are delays, then many times God intervenes. But the problem is, if the majority of people are into a carnal kind of thing, and they are constantly, or if they have made their roots so deep that nobody can uproot them, then God knows how to uproot them. And since it's a very large number and they're very powerful, we cannot change anything. See, the corporates we can't change, companies we can't change, politicians we can't change, and social leaders, reformers, I don't know how effective they are today, because everyone first wants some kind of benefit. Without gaining any benefit, they don't want to do anything for others. That's the problem. So when such a large collection of people, if such a large group of people is ruling the world, and they may be smaller in number than the masses, but they have more control. They have more control over policy making, or they basically start altering, deciding our fates. And we don't come to know this, but our fates are so many times decided in a corporate office in maybe New York or Tokyo, and they decide the policies. So there are people who are the sufferers, and their cries, their agonies heard by God, because they have to try 10 times harder to feed their children, to educate them, to marry them off, or to give them a better life, and they don't get any opportunities. And we could be one of them. Why go to so low? We could be one of them, right? So many of our rights have been usurped or just been banished by some people. Now, as humans, imagine we can't change. I could not do anything, you can't do anything, but God can do. And God knows how to do it. If you've heard the stories of Daitya and Asur, Rakshas and Devta, all the mythology in Ramayana, Mahabharata, especially in Ramayana, especially in the childhood of Lord Ram, and Vashisht Rishi and Vishwamitra Ji Rishi, and when they were their gurus. Whenever some holy activity like Havan, Homam was being carried out, all the Asurs came and then they defiled the place. And slowly we saw, whether it was the story of Dadichi Rishi, we saw that slowly the good people, they got subjugated or they became less powerful, and the others became, and the bad people, evil, wicked people became intoxicated with wine, woman, money, splendor, so on. All the so-called nice things of life, gold. And then you've seen in the story that one of the rishis will go and ask another devta, and something happens and they lose the battle. How did they lose the battle? Because they lost their mind. Their judgment, they made an error in judgment. And at the nick of time, whether it's all of Mahabharata, in the end everyone made wrong judgments. So I mean, I would love to prostrate 100 times to Swami Shivananda, because I get infinite joy when he tells me all this, because these are such subtle things. So he's gone a bit further. See the very fine line what he has said, that the bad people, the wicked people, one day will receive what they have done. They'll reap. They'll reap what they have done. How? How will they reap? Because the law of cause and effect is applicable to everyone, just a matter of time. And how will they lose? How will they be defeated? We don't want to defeat them. They'll get defeated themselves. How? They will lose a sense of judgment. And Swamiji Shivananda has gone to the extent of telling me that, look, how do you lose your judgment? ये बहुत बारीक बात है, बहुत सूक्ष्म बात है, इसमें आपको मिलेगी, ढूंढ लेना. You have to excavate. आर्काइव में कहीं एक पड़ी एक छोटी सी बात है, बहुत बड़ी बात कही है उन्होंने. That a person will lose the judgment. A bad person, if he goes on, and when God decides, look, I have to punish you, you have gone too far, what will happen to that person? That person will lose judgment. And Swamiji is saying, Shivananda Swami is saying, how will he lose judgment? The 5 Panch Mahabhut in the body will go out of balance. his thinking or her thinking process, which is so subtle, these are all chemical reactions in the mind, that will be spoilt. And he will take a wrong, or she'll take a wrong decision. And as a community, as a group of people who have had more than their share, I'm sure everyone is going through that whatever they had planned, decided is not happening. No one can book guarantees. I mean, no one can be sure what to do, in what to invest, what plans to make, because God is not helping us to make plans. So in part 2, Shivananji has explained this. See, part 1 is about the world is undergoing a massive change. And part B is Yug Parivartan, a new world order. And God decided to bring about a new world order. And how God will fail the evil. Their own thinking shall weaken, their distinct vision shall fail to give them a clear vision of future planning. They shall run short of funds, ideas, cooperation and coordination. God resides in this universe and keeps a vigil on every human being. And this is what has happened in mythology. The evil shall fight with other evil, create doubt in their minds and reduce their own power. This is the law of karma. What you do unto others returns to you in due time, as nature cannot be deceived or lied to. This world is an echo, we echo our consciousness. So ultimately this is what happens. Right? And on the contrary, the people who are upright, are truthful, are going by God's wish and not harming others, those who have preserved holy aspirations and holy dreams in their hearts may find their realizations germinating in their lives. This means people who were trying to become spiritual but could not, they only had aspirations. They will awake now, even if the spark was dim. Right? This is what God is going to awake people, more people now. Others who wish to only subjugate, torment, rule or cheat others will see that their intentions have failed and they must submit. The conflict now is of dharma and adharma, righteousness. I'm reading from part 2, part B, Yug Parivartan. The conflict now is of dharma and adharma, righteousness and unholiness, good and bad, peace and war, love and hate, compassion and insatiability, patience and impatience, equality and equality, enmity and violence, and lastly, destruction and regeneration. We have to take sides now. We have to take sides. We can't just be, we can't be indifferent. And God has asked us to take sides. We cannot just be indifferent. We have to go over this other side, like this side. We have to go this side now. We have to be on the regeneration, revival, or towards dharma, or towards righteousness. We cannot side with people who are adharmi. See, it's so clearly said here. Just before part C starts, the last paragraph. Maximum people in the world are today blinded by the deception and illusion created by a lobby or group of people for their own selfish ends. A mirage over the world has been cast and people are made to believe that penance, sacrifice, self-control are bad. They'll say, don't do it, enjoy. Freak out, chill out. And what happens in the end? So imagine if maximum people are saying, what a time we are in. Earlier people were saying, what has happened to the world now? Now this is correct, that the whole world has been shrouded by a dark blanket where maximum people are saying, we all have to have lots of money, let's get it by any means. Let's tell the world we are rich. Let's spend the money and show how rich we are. Even if you are not rich, show the world we are rich. And then discrimination from the point of poor and rich. Bad behavior for people who are going through a bad time financially. Discrimination in relatives, discrimination in offices, so many things happen. Based on what? Maya. No one sees the inside. But we have to see who are actually wealthy, who are rich, who are people who are glorious, people who have done penance, people who are righteous, people who can sacrifice, people who are quiet, people who are caring, compassionate, loving, truthful. They are the rich people. Whatever they are, wherever they are, in any caste, creed, religion, whatever. They are the people who should be worshipped, they are the people who should be respected. And that is why our gurus, the rishis, are respected. They are revered. And for all you know, they may be very poor when they were on this earth. They just had maybe a kamandalu or a danda. What did they achieve? And let's not bring ourselves to a point until we are so sick and tired of what we have acquired and we don't want it at all now. Let's not come to that point. Before that happens, say, this is enough. And if God is doing the revival, transformation, and God is doing through certain, there are other ways also, not only Jyoti Marg, not only me, there are other people who are so inspired now, or they are doing their work quietly and we don't know about them. Whether it's about protection of environment or protection of some other, say, civil rights or anything, or growing trees, anything. We don't know. So God's earth is being preserved, it's being cared for, but by a limited section of society. And maximum people are here to ruin, enjoy, destruct, or just leave it indifferently. Who cares? You will do it. I will dirty this place, you clean it. I throw the trash, you pick it up. Because you are rich. This is the attitude I see in people. If the whole world is throwing the crap in the trash, why will you not do it? And who will pick it up? Why should others do it for you? The other way of bringing about changes in the world is by revival of eternal, this is part C, revival of eternal ancient knowledge, values and teachings of God union or yoga must be revived to bring peace, order, unity, oneness, compassion and love in the world. If there are so many selfish people, bad people, and they are in connivance, they make groups, lobbies, and together they get strength because they need protection, they need strength, and they need a backup. So they make a large group or a group of 4 or 5, and then they start getting into the act of the vulnerable. Who are the targets of such people? We must be so shrewd to understand that I will never be a target. Don't allow people to target you or exploit you, or knowingly don't allow people to cheat you. If it happens unknowingly, it's all right. If God didn't tell you there was a shroud over your your innocence, it's all right. But once you know it, you should react. Because this is what they want. Don't speak up. Why should I not speak up? Right? Don't protest. Don't tell others. Don't let the world know that there was a conspiracy. So, such dubious people, such wicked people, they target the weaker section, the affected or deprived, or someone in trouble, someone in a lean period, or like misfortune time, or financially weak. So for the sensual gratification, they can sacrilege anything, they can destroy anything, even the holy spiritual values. And it's become fashionable now to say, oh, I don't do this, I don't do that. And this is a very important thing. This is what I was trying to explain. Remember that the time has come when a handful well-orchestrated lobbies of self-centered, self-supporting and ill-willed people, they target the undoubting, innocent and unaware population. They reduce them into dearth, poverty, helplessness and ruin. So it may take time to fight for whatever is just for you, but don't give in. This is what they want. Be quiet. They want to silence you, right? But the wise and the intuitive, for them their modus operandi is simple and evident. Such assemblages and cartels hide the facts very forcefully. They want to hide the real thing. Like if supposing I'm giving you other small example, they want to sell you something which is not good. They'll hide the fact, the most important thing. They sell you something and say for a particular function you want to buy that product, and if it's not doing that part, or they'll hide that, and they will make it so beautiful and nice packaging that you'll buy it. But when you take it home, you'll say, what is the point? I can't even use it. And the fault lies in us, because over years we have got used to this polish, this false thing called cover. Our sight should be, does this function, does this machine work, or what do? And when people talk to you, I wish you get this sooner the better. Listen to them intently and see whether they mean it, or they are trying to lure you, or they are trying to... Anyone being extra sweet or extra hard on you has a motive behind them. Don't let them do that. They hide the facts very forcefully, and they'll scare you also. They'll threaten you also. Violence and ferocity is used to instill fear in people, to kill their spirit. That's what happens when politicians come and they talk of very nice things, and when things are not right and when people want to speak, they instill fear. And they combine forces with similar. So similar forces combine. And this is a line of caution which Swami Shivananda has said, and I just thought I must read out for you. Never trust people when they ask for your confidence, value system and faith in return of monetary gain, rewards or publicity. They never tell you the truth, that a trap has been laid to delude and kill you or destroy you or your moral values. In this vicious world, now that we are in such a holy such a holy company, but the fact is that There are people, a group of people who will plan for years to kill others, kill their businesses, kill their morality. There are people, our own relatives here and there, maybe not in everyone's family, but there are, who will try to destroy you quietly, silently, mentally over years, especially done to women, so that they don't speak up, they don't ask for their rights of the children, and lots of conspiracies happen. So if you're intuitive, since we are now in the energy field of Ambar Anant Yantra, where intuition is being given to us, pray to God that you are more intuitive than today and see what you feel from inside. When it doesn't feel good, never do that thing. Some people are more receptive to pranic energy. If there is some unpleasant things happening in your body, don't do it. If there is a thud or like a arrival of some blob of heavy energy near your chest, don't do it. Or if your head is spinning, you're not feeling good, or you feel like there's a headache or uneasy in the mind, don't do it. Or if you get confused suddenly, don't do that work. Suddenly you lose your clarity, your focus, don't do it. Say, I'll come to you tomorrow. Or when people talk to you and you feel that I'm very unhappy, I don't like what that person is telling me or she's telling me, but I don't have the courage to speak up. So when you say, I don't like it, I'm unhappy, or you're sad, or you start crying, or you're unwell, that's basically the peace is gone, and your heartbeat becomes faster, and you lose your concentration, and then you lose that spirit, like you're saying, I'm in a bad mood. Remember, these are the energies that you have got from outside, they are not yours. And this is how God will tell us. God speaks to us like that. Or when people talk to you, and if what they tell you is so unbelievable, remember, like, तू 10 डाल तेरा 1000 बनेगा, कभी नहीं होएगा. वो तुमसे 1000 लेगा और 10 भी नहीं देगा. वो लूटने आया है. उसका प्रपोजल ही ऐसा होएगा, इतना ऐसा गोल्डन जमा के, so attractive, flowery. No one is here to give you anything out of their pocket. They only come to take from you, whether it's your wealth, money, beauty, time, energy. Exploiters of many types. See, the people in the world have endless desires. So to fulfill endless desires, people sacrilege the world. Their Trishna and Vasana are unending. And they have ugly, extremely unpleasant. Vile here means V-I-L-E, vile means extremely unpleasant. So they have wild passions. They are crazy people. Their minds are crazy, so they make others also crazy. They have ugly thoughts. They have bad pasts. And Swamiji is saying that if we do yoga of mind, that is mind control, we can control our wild passions, we can control our ugly thoughts, and we can control our extremely unpleasant tendencies. And pranayam will purify the breath of its passions and desires. We have discussed this in Dwara Heart also, that our श्वास has vasana. जो हमारी श्वास है, जो महीन बारीक वासनाएं होती हैं, बहुत ज़्यादा एम्बेडेड होती हैं, वो हमारे प्राणों में छुपी होती है. यानी it's an intermix. These two energies are intermixed because when we think of very bad desires, there is a loss of energy and the breath becomes fast. The heart rate becomes fast and the thoughts run very fast. So Swamiji is saying do yoga, pranayam, all these exercises are going to dampen this wildfire. Man ko shant rakho. So if you quieten your mind, we will not be a victim of wild passions and ugly desires. And if more people have positive moral, spiritual vibrations, what will it do to the world? Moral and spiritual values generate positive vibrations and energies in the recipient and owner. They transmit positive vibrations of cooperation, love, and compassion. They regenerate the person and the environment and make this earth calm, productive. This is a very important line. We don't understand the power of silence, the power of meditation. The more we meditate, the more peaceful we are. The more peaceful vibrations we emit to the world. And if you do yoga, dhyan, pranayam, it brings a lot of tranquility inside. मन की शांति कहाँ है? अंदर है. Right? Where is peace hidden? It's inside us. So, ugly desires, wild passions, they make us unrestful. There is unrest because of that. And how can the world be saved from slow destruction? Prior to that, this is a nice line which I have spent a lot of time on in the morning. There is one paragraph, third from the last, like before it ends. The enlightened sages reiterate the urgent need to revive the eternal values because God will plant special regenerative spiritual energies in a period of next 2 years. The exceedingly evil and selfish will be demolished and debarred from peaceful existence. The bad people will lose their peace. And the disease is such that we don't know what will happen to the minds of people over years because of this pandemic, how many changes, long lasting or short lived, it has to be researched. And what has gone unnoticed in the middle of this hospitalization or vaccination is the state of the mind or the change in the mind or the what could you say, the low feelings people are having, the loss of joy in people's minds and lives, the loss of security, the loss of stability, the continuous uncertainty has cracked people's psyche. It has broken them down. Future looks bleak, future looks undecisive, and more than anything I feel the loss of ego, the loss of pride, the loss of false sense of control which humans had, that is gone. So they are feeling defunct. That's the problem. Because the basis of living was their small self ego. I can do this, I can make this, I can buy this, I can change this, I can go there, I'll just get it in a minute. Now it's not happening. The shops are all empty. You can't get anything, there's no surety. The raw material is not coming, so production is not happening. Or the demand is not there, so production is not happening. We don't have money to just to de-stress ourselves. We just go and buy something. So God has purposely put a stop so that we understand how much do we need, what is our real requirement, are we hoarding, are we stingy, are we hoarding too much, are we sharing our property, no, are we sharing our wealth, our resources, are we jealous of others, are we still all the time criticizing people, all the time are we looking at others, how much have they grown, are we always looking at other people, what they are doing, or are we busy with ourselves? We have to be busy with ourselves, be contented, have peace of mind, count your blessings, and instead of feeling worried, weary, tired, pray to God to give you enlightenment, the divine insight by which you can connect to God, be more intuitive, and learn to listen to God's voice within, and understand and be very patient and let God do the changes in the world. Be a cooperative person by your cooperation and faith and trust. Do as directed, go by God's wish. God is directing us. God will never ever let us down. In the end, we will always feel so blessed, and we will gain and lose nothing. We'll lose nothing. Right? Now the last two lines are the messages or the guideline, the teachings. Choose a life which is productive, progressive, and self-giving. Sacrifice, penance, and self-control are the keys to sustain humanity and earth with infinite living beings. I repeat, choose a life which is productive, progressive, and self-giving. Sacrifice, penance, and self-control are the keys to sustain humanity and earth with infinite living beings. Nobody will be allowed to destroy priceless life and the earth for their wild passions. So this is a warning from God that you can't destroy. Imagine so many people have hunted animals. When you look back and count the number of animals on earth, I'm wondering why didn't we stop the Rajas and Maharajas for years? What did they do? God decides the fate and destiny of the world. We are observers. If we cooperate in its rebuilding and recasting to bring back lost, forgotten ancient values and systems of cohesive and peaceful living, our own destiny shall enhance and blessings many received. So part A was this was the title, protect yourself from harmful influences that may in future collaborate with other evil forces to ruin or destroy you. This is a very, very grave line, but what is also meant by Shivanand Swami is that look, these thoughts are floating so many times, you just absorb the evil feelings and bad thought. Even for a chronic criminal must have started with first ever thought or first ever action, and maybe it was not yours. So any sin that we do, maybe it's not ours. We have absorbed, or someone suggested, do it. But don't do it. So that is why Swamiji is saying, protect yourself. And how to protect yourself in this world? Today's times are such, he has explained, this is what we are going through, this is what is going to happen, this is what you're supposed to do, this is how you should develop yourself and save yourself from the harmful influences, the nefarious, the bad, the evil influences of your life, and you can't even come to know that they are around us. So stay away from bad people. It's better to be quiet, alone, and lead a solitary life than please someone who has a motive behind it. Everyone has a motive. They don't let you be. And the part one was, this world has many different types of spiritual and evil forces embedded in hidden, unknown places all over. So we don't know where they are hidden, when they'll get activated, by whom, and how we may become a victim. So stay away. With the part B was, with excess material progress, comfort and luxury, with turning of wheel of time, comes extreme evil, Kali Yuga. We must now revert to an age of truth, honesty and simplicity of Satyuga. The present condition of our regressive condition of the world is because we've progressed a lot. We've got too much comfort, luxury, and now to want to ask for more of this luxury, comfort, a very enjoyable life. Human beings are ready to go to any extent to exploit nature or people. And the third was no, just a minute. I went to the other page. I'm sorry. The world is undergoing a massive change in its spiritual consciousness. This was part A. Part B was revival of eternal ancient knowledge, values and teachings of God, union or yoga. And the third was part C is here. Yeah, my page is very crunched in the end. I can't see my page. I can't see. Yeah, it's in page 2, right. Revival of eternal ancient knowledge, values and teachings of God, union or yoga must be revived to bring peace, order, unity, oneness, compassion and love in the world. This is part C. And part 2 was this Yug Parivartan. The turning of wheel of time is the turning of destinies of people from Kali Yuga to Satyuga, and it is cataclysmic and turbulent. The evil must perish and righteous victorious. And this post had to be very powerful, and I am least surprised because Shivanand Swami was once Dadichi Rishi who fought the evil. So such powerful words had to come from him. And he has the power, the fire of truthfulness. He can kill demons with his very positive mental powers. Every time I teach you, I feel I have just understood. I just thought I understood a little bit of this. We'll spend a few minutes in discussion.
Pranama. How do we raise a voice or stand up when somebody is doing very unrighteous thing, and even though we are not directly involved, but it's going to affect someone very badly? How do we handle that situation?
Is it in the society?
Say within family.
You want to correct some things?
Not exactly correct, but bring it to somebody's notice that whatever has been said or done has a deeper intention, and it's not as light as it was stated. It was not a plain, simple, innocent sentence, but it has a grave intention. So, if others have taken it lightly or even ignored, how do we handle it?
No, we can ignore people when you know they have some selfish motive or they're trying to do something. We can ignore it. We can avoid that situation. Don't get involved in it. We have a choice, na? See, you have called me. It's my wish whether I want to take your call or not. I can answer, I can avoid your call. There are many ways to do this. See, in society, what I meant was, so many times, say your electricity bill has been hiked, for example. And obviously, you'll go and check and say no. You can't just leave it like that. And we know why these electricity bills are hiked. We know by now why this is happening. So obviously you'll go and get it corrected, right? Then there are other injustices that happen. So we have to speak. Sometimes you have to ignore also, because you're not going to leave everything and do all this. But what I felt the most important thing today is that if you develop your intuition, that's going to guide you. Intuition will tell you whether you should react, not react, how much to react. Or I have projects which, like what you're saying, such projects, society projects, this projects, you have to do it over a period of time. This is a very long drawn battle. That is also okay, because if God wants us to do certain things, we'll do it. And there are times when we also keep quiet, because that's not the right time and the place to do it. But just keeping quiet because we are timid, or we don't know how to handle certain situations, and they're tricky. They're actually tricky. So the best thing is, first look for guidance from within. There should be some voice which will guide you. This is a very good practice. Be quiet, sit down. I have done it. I did not know this was called intuition. I have navigated my life like this. I had multiple problems. What do? You don't trust anyone. You don't know what to do. You can't take professional help. Sometimes professional help is also not good. Counselors are not good. What do? The best thing is sit quietly. Learn to sit with yourself. Learn to listen to the voice inside. See what it says. I have said to you, written so many times, there's a lamp within you. There is a guiding light within you. Because ultimately it's your own light, your own divine light, which will help you. It's a habit. A trouble comes, sit quietly for a few minutes, you will be fine. You'll know what to do. If there is a doubt, sit down. we want a solution, be quiet for a few minutes, make it a habit. Instead of seeking outside. And once you plant this habit inside, then automatically it will start developing. You see, आदत पड़ जाएगी, आपकी जाग जाएगी, आपकी आत्मा है, ये आत्मा बता रही है, आपकी आत्मा जागेगी. जगाओ इसको. चेतना जगाने की बात तो शिवानंद जी बोल रहे हैं. वर्ल्ड कॉन्शियसनेस, चेतना ही मरी पड़ी है सबकी अभी, तो जगा लो. एंड इतनी बड़ी सत्ता से, इतनी बड़ी शक्ति से हम थोड़ी लड़ सकते हैं. ये तो अंदर की जब हमको आवाज़ भगवान देंगे, उसमें इतनी शक्ति भी होगी कि हम लड़ सकते हैं उससे. वो तो बेचारी इतनी सी एक डिम सी आवाज़ होगी, पर उसकी पावर हमको पता नहीं है कितनी पावर है इसमें. जिसको हम छोटा बोलते हैं, हम ऐसे वी आर डिस्क्राइबिंग लाइक छोटी सी एक आवाज़ है, भगवान की छोटी सी है, बिकॉज उसलिए बार बार छोटी बोलते हैं क्योंकि बाहर का बहुत शोर है, तो उसके कंपैरिजन में हम उसको छोटी आवाज़ बोल रहे हैं. उसकी पावर तो मिलियन टाइम ज़्यादा है. कभी भी आपको गलत नहीं बताएगी वो, क्योंकि जो तुम नहीं देख सकते, दुनिया नहीं देख सकती है, वो गाइडेंस आपको दिखा रही है, वो बता रही है आपको. वो कट थ्रू नहीं होने वाला, आपके बुद्धि से नहीं होने वाला है. ये जितनी कॉम्प्लेक्स ये दुनिया है, जितने गंदे कॉम्प्लेक्स्ड पीपल हैं, आप उनको नहीं जीत पाओगे. मैं एक जनरल बात कह रही हूँ, जनरल नहीं कर पाओगे. आप सोच रहे हो आपने इसको जीत लिया, वो दूसरा आ जाएगा, तीसरा, एक राक्षस, 10 राक्षस है. आपकी एक लाइफ की प्रॉब्लम खत्म होगी, दूसरी प्रॉब्लम आएगी, आपने टैकल नहीं किया, दूसरी पहले खड़ी हो गई है. तो कितनी बार हम बाहर से कैसे हेल्प लेंगे? तो अपनी अंदर की रोशनी, आपका अंदर का प्रकाश, आपकी आत्मा ही तो है. उसको हम इंट्यूशन बोलें, दिव्य दृष्टि बोलें, लाइट ऑफ गॉड बोलें, क्या बोलेंगे आप उसको? वो चीज़ ही बस है. अब उसको आप कुछ भी नाम दीजिए. है तो ईश्वर का प्रकाश, ब्रह्म प्रकाश, और क्या है? शुद्ध हिंदी में तो बहुत बहुत आनंद आएगा इस बात को समझे. ब्रह्म प्रकाश है, ये रोशनी है. पहले दिल में जागेगी, फिर आपके इधर त्रिकुटी पे जागेगी, आपका सिक्स सेंस जाग जाएगा. इसी को हम सिक्स सेंस बोलते हैं. जो आँख, नाक, कान, स्किन नहीं देख सकते, वो आपको अंदर से समझ आएगा. वो आप बोलोगे नहीं ये नहीं, ये राइट है. तो वो है छोटी सी, हल्की सी, जो हमने सुबह बात किया, डिस्कस किया, सबलाइम फीलिंग्स हैं. ये बहुत सबलाइम है. हमें इतना सबलाइम होना पड़ेगा. इसके लिए एक स्पेशल परसेप्शन होता है. और जितना शोर आपका मन का भी, ये सब शांत हो जाएगा. ये तो बहुत बहुत ही मोटी मोटी बात बोली है मैंने जी. वाइल्ड पैशंस ये तो हमारे हैं भी नहीं, पर वही है, सबके लिए बात की मैंने. बट ये वाइल्ड पैशंस तो सब ख़त्म ही हो गए. अब क्या है? कुछ भी नहीं अभी. ये थोड़ी हमको थोड़ी पैसे के लिए भागना है किसी को तंग. ये तो हमारे लिए लागू भी नहीं है, पर बोलना पड़ता है. कोई और भी सुनेगा, अगर उसको है तो उसको चेक करना पड़ेगा. तो अपनी अंदर की जो भगवान की आवाज़ है, वो मन जितना हमारा शांत हो जाएगा, वो ऑटोमेटिकली जागेगी. वो ऑलरेडी है, वो लिट है, वो जली हुई है, पर उसके ऊपर कवर है हमारे मन का. तो वो कवर हटना चाहिए बस. और जब ये अंदर की आवाज़ आपको आएगी, वो आपको रीज़नेबल भी नहीं लगेगी. बहुत बार बहुत अलग होगी वो. पर क्योंकि भगवान स्पेस टाइम के बियॉन्ड बात कर रहे हैं, बहुत दूर की कह रहे हैं, तो वो आपको लगेगा ही कैसे हो सकता है. जैसे मेरे को द्वाराहट में भगवान ने प्रकाश के रूप में इतना बड़ा प्रकाश दिखाया, इतना तो किसी को ही नहीं मिलता होगा. वो शायद स्टोरी बेन हर नेज़रत, वो ये पता नहीं क्या क्या, मैंने सब पिक्चरें देखी हुई हैं. मोजेस, वो मैंने ऐसे इमेजिन किया था, वो मेरे साथ ही हो गया. जब मुझे भगवान ने कहा कि वो लहरी माशा जी का तो वो तो वेव ख़त्म, क्रिया योग, अब तो एक बहुत बड़ा एक नया रास्ता, एक नया कुछ कर रही है, तेरे को दुनिया में गाइड करना है लोगों को. मैं घबराई. मैंने कहा मुझे क्या आता है, मैं क्या गाइड करूँ, कि तुम एक न्यू वेव शुरू करो. अब लहरी माशा जी का नाम सुन के तो घबराहट होती है कि भाई हम क्या कर सकते हैं, हम तो भी अभी तक, कल तक तो ऐसे ही थे. तो जब बहुत दूर की बात कही जाती है, तो ये फिर बहुत अजीब लगने लगता है हमको। पर भगवान के संकल्प में बहुत शक्ति है। भगवान हमसे कुछ भी करा सकते हैं। आपका समर्पण होना चाहिए और आपको बस उस फ्लो में आ जाना चाहिए। हाँ, फिर वो मेरा क्या हो रहा है, मुझे क्या दुनिया देख रही है, मुझे क्या लोग सोच रहे हैं, या मैं कैसे करेगी, वो तो थोड़ी सोचना है हमको। हो जाएगा, उसका आनंद है, बस देखते जाओ कैसे होता है। एंजॉय द होल जर्नी। तो जब भगवान बहुत दूर का हमको बोलते हैं तो वो बहुत अजीब लगती है बात। कितनी सारी ऐसी भविष्यवाणियाँ जो मेरे लिए बोली गई, मैंने तो बोला पता नहीं, कह रहे हैं, लिख देते हैं, पता नहीं किसकी स्टोरी है, ये कौन है पता नहीं। ऐसे मैं दिखती थी, पता नहीं, अच्छा ठीक है अभी बोलते हैं ऐसा होगा, और हो गया है। मोर देन दैट हो गया है, मोर देन दैट हो गया है। क्योंकि शायद उनको हम पे ज़्यादा विश्वास होता है, क्योंकि उनकी जो विद्या है, उनकी जो शक्तियाँ हैं, उनको उन पे बहुत विश्वास है। वो युगों से उसको यूज़ कर रहे हैं ना। वो शक्तियाँ हमें थोड़ी पता है वो कौन है, कैसी है। अब हमने ये बात बोल दी आपको, यहाँ यंत्र हैं, ऐसा है, आपको कुछ पता थोड़ी है। अब से सुन रहे हो कान से, पर उसको महसूस करना, उसका इस्तेमाल कर लेना और उसका फल देख लेना, वो अलग चीज़ है जो मैंने देखी है। अभी तो आप सरफेस लेवल पे हो ना, नेचुरल, इतना ही समझोगे। पर जब मैंने वो शक्तियाँ देख लिया, मैंने अनुभव कर लिया, मैंने उसको प्रयोग कर लिया, मैंने आपके ऊपर प्रयोग कर लिया है, और मैं कह रही हूँ ये वर्क करेगी, तो वो कर चुकी है वर्क। इसलिए मैं बोलती हूँ ये रिजल्ट आएगा। तभी मैंने बच्चों को आज ऐसे ठोक बजा के कहा कि बल्ले बेटा खुश हो ले, कुंजी है ये तो। पूरी लाइफ पढ़ाई नहीं, पूरी ज़िंदगी सक्सेसफुल हो जाएगी, बिजनेस ये MBA जो करना है करो। पर ये विद्याएं हैं, कठिन है, इसको साधना पड़ता है, इसलिए हम इसको साधना बोल रहे हैं। अभी सब खुश हो रहे हैं आज की इतना अच्छा हो गया, मेरे तो सारे डाउट्स निकल गए, स्वामी जी ने हमें लाइफ लॉन्ग के लिए सब कुछ बता दिया। बेटा इसका भी तुम तेल निकालना बैठ के, इसको आप घोटो। वो बोलते हैं ना, वो अफीम है, गांजा है, ये लो जड़ी बूटी, दे गेट इट फ्रॉम द वाइल्ड जंगल्स। पर उसको बेटा वो करना पड़ता है, उसको आप साधोगे, लाइफ लॉन्ग आप बिजी हो गए, पर आपको उसके लिए कुछ मिल भी तो रहा है इतना। आपको हॉस्पिटल जाना है, आपको लाखों रुपए डालने हैं, और ये टांग का ऑपरेशन कराना था और इसका ऑपरेशन करा के लाना है। ये हुआ है, लोगों ने बोला है। लेफ्ट राइट नी कराना था, लेफ्ट अच्छा था उसको निकाल दिया, कैप लगा दिया। और ये तो आप जो मुझे लोग बोल रहे हैं, मैंने आपको बोल दी। फिर बोले अच्छा केस कर दो हम पे, हम क्या करें, गलती हो गई, केस कर दो, उसकी तो लाइफ खराब हो गई।
Ma, does karma decide whether you're going to be a good or a bad person in certain lives? Because like at birth, sometimes the horoscope shows that this person is going to have a bad life or a good life. And for example, scientific research has shown that psychopaths have a certain brain pattern. So what are the chances that these people can reform, or are they just destined to be and lead a life like that?
Good question. We must understand that repetitive karmas generate a lot of energy in us. What are karmas? We are basically storing energies in us. By doing positive things, we generate and harness and store, say, by doing good things, we are generating positive forces inside us, and vice versa. And when a lot of, say, you're talking of psychopaths, so I'm talking of that. Who are psychopaths? Who are breaking the laws of God and going on doing things which they're not supposed to do. And why do they do? Because they get some kind of happiness and by troubling people or by whatever, by being anti-social or whatever, right? Now your question of horoscope, see, it depends at what juncture that person is. when the momentum is too much, then like it's like a force that is multiplying. And that force, when it reflects in the destiny of a person, such people are very difficult to reform. If they, in their previous life, have just done one thing which is, say, a destructive activity. But if over the lives, if they have done many bad activities in many lives, but plus add to it, there was already some change and some nice things were also done. Based on that, they have a better chance of reforming. It depends at what juncture that person is born, or vice versa. Even the so-called saints or the sadhus who have done lot of tapasya, this is what Adi Shankaracharya ji has taught us about chitta, subconscious mind. That's why they're saying clean it up. You, the real person, is your subconscious mind. Even a dark action done lakhs of, like many, say, huge number, take any number, say 50 lives back, 100 lives back. That's way back someone did. And after that, that person was only doing right things. All of a sudden, that germ is going to jump up and spoil and ruin your life. Unless finished manifested, and even if it's finished manifested, the problem is it still leaves some impressions behind. I know of a person whose mind is not very bright. So I sometimes try to study what is the reason. The answers are always in our past lives. So many people have done it. It's not only his fault or her fault. Like, the problem is, even if some people 70, 80,000, 90,000 years back, if they have done some tantric practices, knowingly or unknowingly, and then they've left it, as a punishment, God has already decided that your brain will never sparkle. So they are very dim. These are the lasting effects of breaking God's laws. This only satisfies my unquenchable desire to know karmas, because I've studied lots of people, I've taught children, I've put in so much effort in some people and I get nothing in return. That was the time when I used to think, why am I failing? Why doesn't it? There has to be a reason. Because see, it's very evident. The same thing, it's like I'm teaching in this class, it could be a junior class, say I'm teaching class 8th, whatever, 5th, and I'm putting in the same effort. All these were my own things, my own quest. I used to see one child with super duper memory, the other wouldn't. Some child being so focused, the other never careful, never interested. Some people, some children, if I don't do it, the child would never do it. And किसी को 2-4 थप्पड़ भी मार लो, punish भी करो, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता था. So you wonder क्यों नहीं होता है? Obviously I hadn't grown that much that time, but I wanted to know why. Because I was a very, very unselfish teacher. I was very, very equal. So I never felt I'm siding or I'm favoring this child. इसको ज़्यादा करा दो. मैं सबको एक सा ही कर रही थी. तो मुझे लग रहा था जब मेरी नीयत इतनी अच्छी है तो ये क्यों नहीं असर हो रहा है? इसलिए असर नहीं हो रहा था क्योंकि आप अपना सब बीज लाए हो ना.
Soma, sorry. Like this life then is gone because of the past karmas. So now converting yourself spiritually positive, you're only laying a secure future for your present lives.
No, it depends. See, there are people who are 50-50. Half light, half dark. And this is where there is hope. If people have got good karmas, hidden inside or are currently doing good, there is hope. Even a flicker of light is good. That is why I am telling you again and again कि कुछ गलत अब मत करना. हो गया, it's okay. But the damage, the biggest damage you can do to yourself is do wrong things. Never do anything wrong now. I'm telling you, I'm repeating, go slow. If you can't manage too much, don't do. Don't try to rise too much. Don't try to say, oh, like walk your own path. Do your own journeys. But whatever negativities or whatever sanskars we had, if they were not positive, try to eliminate that and don't do it here. Right? वो नहीं करना. Because I can't help you then. I can't do anything for you. It's like falling from zenith is more painful than falling from level 2. Some people have touched zenith. आसमान छूते हैं वो लोग, फिर गिरते हैं वहाँ से. आप तो अभी बिगनर भी नहीं हो, आप तो अभी प्यार में आ रहे हो, अभी तो बिगनिंग करोगे. इमेजिन, आई एम टेलिंग यू, आगे क्या है, ये रास्ता कैसा है. आकाश छू लेते हैं फिर गिरते हैं वहाँ से. कैसे गिर जाते हैं? भगवान तो किसी को नहीं गिरा रहे. कोई एक उनका बुरा कर्म होता है या वीकनेस होती है और वो लोग उस समय वीक हो जाते हैं, सतर्क नहीं होते, केयरफुल नहीं होते और वो वीकनेस उनको गिराती है. सो एक स्टेप बहुत स्ट्रांग लेना है, बहुत पक्का. छोटा लेसन पक्का, रिवाइज पक्का. जल्दी नहीं है. इट्स नॉट अ रेस. इट्स नॉट अ रेस.
In the context of this question, you had once told us in a class that only 9% of our destiny is our past karmas and 91% is our present. Purusharth.
I was going to say that, you said it for me. Purusharth, like Swamiji used to always say, is the adult, the Purush, the man. And destiny is like a balak, बच्चा. अभी रेसलिंग कराओ, कौन जीतेगा? पुरुषार्थ जीतेगा. Don't you remember his videos? पुरुषार्थ.